lot at stake this election season, and whether it's the perceived problem of voter fraud or concerns about counting your absentee ballot, there are a lot of questions this election cycle on the integrity of the process.
So we talked to Dane County Clerk Scott McDonell to get your questions answered. Well, thanks for taking the time this morning. We appreciate it.
Sure.
The question of the integrity of the election, it seems to be on the minds of many today. What do you say to folks who are concerned about voting in this election?
You know, we've been doing this for decades, and we haven't seen any cases of voter fraud other than a handful of ballots, and those get prosecuted. You know, there's a really strong system of checking to see who the voter is. Photo ID helps a lot as far as being able to check to see who someone is. So we actually audit all of our elections afterwards, publish the ballot images in Dane County. So just many layers of security on the election.
A lot of those concerns stem from absentee voting. Some folks are saying, is my absentee ballot going to be counted?
Right.
Are those concerns legitimate?
You know, there are more examples of absentee ballots being excluded, usually because someone forgot to either sign it or have a witness sign it. So you need to check to make sure that your absentee ballot envelope is completely filled out. Sometimes people overvote. They vote for 2 candidates for president. That is going to invalidate that race. It won't invalidate the rest of your ballot. So be careful on how you fill it out. But you can also track the progress of your ballot online. So at myvote.wi.gov, it'll say whether your ballot was received by the clerk, and that way you can make sure that it got back in at least.
The U.S. Postal Service has been in the news a lot lately. Controversies, lack of funding, delays. Should folks be concerned if they're sending their absentee ballot in via the mail?
I think you should feel safe sending your ballot in right now. My experience with the Postal Service is it's turning around relatively quickly right now. I think as we get closer to Election Day, you might want to think about either voting in person for the last 2 weeks, absentee in person at your clerk's office, or using the drop boxes. And on our website, we have a list of drop boxes and early voting times and locations, so you can check that. But the most important thing is if you have your ballot now or you get it next few days, just turn it around, put it back in the mail, bring it back to the clerk's office. Don't hang on to it, because you know, the mail, as everyone here knows, it goes to Milwaukee, it comes back. You don't want to mess with that. Just turn it back in.
Would you have a suggested cutoff deadline for using the mail to send in
I would say 1 week from Election Day, you want to start 1 week, either vote in person or use a drop box.
So you can catch that entire interview in a Q&A format over on channel3000.com right now.
Yeah, he does not have a lot of confidence, it seems like, in the U.S. Postal Service leading up to Election Day.
You know, he was very frank with all of his answers. We asked him again about the City of Madison's event in the parks, trying to collect absentee ballots, and whether he expected that to be challenged in the court. Those thousands and thousands, more than 10,000 ballots to be challenged by Republican leaders. He answers that. Again, that's up on our website.
Really important questions to be asking right now.